There was a time when the world didn't just listen to music. It watched a phenomenon. Elton John, not just a singer, a presence, a man who didn't follow the rules. He rewrote them. Massive stages, unforgettable outfits, music that didn't just play, it stayed. He wasn't just successful, he was everywhere. And then, something changed. Not publicly at first, not suddenly, but internally. Because behind the music, behind the fame, behind the applause, there was pressure building. And pressure always finds a way out. So how does a man go from global icon to nearly losing everything? And more importantly, what happens when success becomes too big to control? Stay with me, because this isn't just about music. This is about identity, addiction, and survival. Before the headlines, there was a young man named Reginald Dwight, born March 25th, 1947, in England. Not a star, not famous, just a boy with a piano, and something different. From a young age, he could hear music and recreate it instantly. That kind of talent doesn't go unnoticed. By his teenage years, he was already immersed in music, studying, practicing, becoming something bigger than his surroundings. But talent alone isn't enough, and he knew that. So he made a decision, not just to play music, but to become someone new. That's when Elton John was created. Not just a name, an identity. And that identity changed everything. By the early 1970s, the rise was explosive. Hit after hit, Your Song, Rocket Man, Tiny Dancer, music that connected globally. But it wasn't just the songs. It was the presence, the glasses, the outfits, the energy. He didn't blend in. He stood out. And in an industry where everyone competes for attention, that's everything. By the mid-1970s, he wasn't just famous. He was dominating. Sold-out tours, massive income, global recognition. He became one of the biggest artists in the world. But here's what most people didn't see. The faster you rise, the harder it becomes to stay grounded. Before the stages, before the lights, before the name the world would remember, there was a boy who didn't quite fit anywhere. Elton John wasn't born Elton John. He was Reginald Dwight, born on March 25th, 1947, in Pinner, England. A quiet place, a quiet life, but not a quiet mind, because from a very young age, something about him was different. Not louder, not more confident, but more sensitive, more aware, more connected to something others couldn't see. Music. At just 3 years old, he could sit at a piano and play melodies by ear. Not guess, not approximate. Play. Exactly. That kind of ability isn't taught. It's instinct. And instinct like that creates pressure early. Because when people see talent, they expect something from it, even before you understand it yourself. His parents saw it, especially his mother. She believed in it, pushed it, encouraged it. But encouragement doesn't always create comfort. Because while music became his strength, life around him wasn't as stable. His father was strict, distant, more focused on discipline than emotion. And when you grow up in that kind of environment, you don't learn how to express yourself. You learn how to hide. So where did that emotion go? Into the piano. Every feeling, every thought, every moment he couldn't say out loud came out through music. And over time, that became his language. By the time he was 11 years old, he earned a scholarship to the Royal Academy of Music. That's not normal. That's elite. That's the kind of place where careers begin. But here's the truth most people don't talk about. Being talented in a structured system is not the same as being free. Because classical training gave him skill, but not identity. He could play perfectly, but he didn't feel like himself. And that conflict started building early. Because deep down, he didn't want to just follow music. He wanted to create it in his own way. So by his teenage years, he made a quiet decision. He would leave the path that was expected of him and take a risk. Not guaranteed, not safe, but real. He started playing in local bands, bars, small venues, places where people didn't care about perfection. They cared about feeling. And this is where something shifted, because for the first time, he wasn't just performing. He was connecting, not through structure, but through emotion. And that's where identity begins. But identity alone isn't enough to break through, because talent without direction stays invisible. Then came one of the most important turning points in his life. He met Bernie Taupin, a songwriter, a lyricist, someone who could put words to the emotions Elton couldn't explain. And that partnership changed everything, because for the first time, he wasn't creating alone. Music and lyrics, emotion and structure, two different minds, building one sound. And that sound was different, not just technically strong, but emotionally real. And people felt it. By the late 1960s, things started moving, slowly at first. Songwriting gigs, background work, small steps, but each step moved him closer to something bigger. Then came the breakthrough. 1970, Your Song, a simple track, no extreme production, no loud energy, just honesty. And that honesty cut through everything. It wasn't just heard, it was felt. And when people feel something, they remember it. That was the moment the world started paying attention. But Elton didn't stop there. He evolved, fast, because he understood something most artists miss. It's not enough to be good. You have to be unforgettable. So he changed his image. The glasses, the outfits, the stage presence. Not normal, not subtle, but bold. Because in a world full of talent, visibility wins. And Elton John became impossible to ignore. By 1972 to 1975, he exploded. Hit after hit. Rocket Man, Crocodile Rock, Benny and the Jets, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Not just songs, anthems, global, recognizable within seconds. And with each release, his presence grew. Tour after tour, sold out arenas, fans everywhere, not just in one country, worldwide. And here's where it becomes important. He wasn't just successful, he was becoming a symbol of freedom, of expression, of something different. And people were drawn to that. Because when someone dares to be different publicly, it gives others permission to feel something privately. That's influence, real influence. By the mid-1970s, he wasn't just part of the music industry. He was defining it. Money, fame, recognition, everything was accelerating. Faster shows, bigger crowds, higher expectations. And here's the truth most people ignore. When everything around you grows fast, your internal world struggles to keep up. Because success doesn't pause for you to adjust. It keeps moving. And if you don't catch up mentally, you fall behind emotionally. And that gap between external success and internal stability is where problems begin. But at that moment, no one saw it. Because on the outside, everything looked perfect, controlled, unstoppable. And that's exactly why. What came next hits so hard. Because the higher you rise, the less room you have to fall quietly. And Elton John was about to learn that the hard way. Success didn't slow him down. It accelerated everything. More shows, more expectations, more pressure. And pressure doesn't disappear. It transforms into habits, into escape, into something harder to control. By the late 1970s and 1980s, the world still saw the superstar. But behind the scenes, things were different. Substance abuse, isolation, internal conflict, the kind of struggles that don't show on stage. Because fame hides reality well, until it doesn't. There came a point where everything caught up. Health issues, emotional breakdown, loss of control. And this is where it gets real. Because when you lose control at that level, you don't just lose success, you risk losing yourself. Here's the truth. Elton John didn't fail because of fame. He almost failed because of what fame brought with it. Pressure, access, no limits. And when there are no limits, there's no control. If you're watching this, understand this. First, talent gets you attention. But control keeps you alive. Second, the bigger the success, the bigger the risk. Third, escaping pressure doesn't remove it. It delays it. Fourth, reinvention is possible if you face reality. So ask yourself this. If everything around you is success, but inside you are losing control, wouldn't anyone even notice? Back-end index pointing down, what do you think?